Hey, remember me? Oh yes, I'm back. I haven't abandoned YouTube forever. I just had a bit of an extended leave of absence. First of all, I recorded a wrap-up video for September, and then at some point in October it went missing from my computer. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether Windows 8 just ate it, whether I accidentally deleted it when I was clearing out my memory card. I did clean out the memory card in my camera completely in October because I was filming some videos on my online course, which I'll tell you a bit about at the end of this video, and so I must have accidentally deleted it in the process, probably. Or like I say, Windows 8 just ate it, who knows. I am going to do a wrap up today for 3 months. September, October and November. So, in September I exclusively read British books. So I was doing very well for the British Books Challenge. The first book I finished reading in September was After the Last Dance by Sarra, but I don't have it here because I lent it to my sister. Obviously I filmed the video and I thought, fine, great, I can now lend it to my sister. After the Last Dance is Sarra Manning's first foray into historical fiction, and there's kind of a dual narrative thing going on. So you've got a character in the present day who is very mysterious. She turns up in a bar in Las Vegas in a wedding dress, and then she meets this man and they end up getting married, and then she comes to London with him. Then you've also got a narrative following Rose in the Second World War, who comes to London to escape her family who want to make her become a land girl and send her away. She doesn't want that, so she runs away to London because she has this idea that she's going to volunteer at Rainbow Corner, which is a kind of nightclub / refuge for American GIs in London. As it moves through each of their narratives, their lives intersect, and it's not a thriller kind of book. It's more of a exploration of personal relationships and histories and love and friendship, and I really enjoyed it. There was one bit in it which absolutely devastated me, and when you read it you'll know which that bit is. It's really obvious, but I would really recommend it, and I'm very excited that Sarra is now writing historical fiction, and I'm really looking forward to her next book, which I believe is out next year. The second book I finished reading in September was The Girl with All the Gifts. Now, I read this in quite an interesting way, by which I mean I got nearly to the end, then I went to the cinema and saw the film, and then I finished reading the book. And I actually think this was the best way to do it, because I didn't know what was going to happen in the end, so the movie was still interesting, but I did then, after seeing that, still want to go back to the book to see how it played out differently. So I'd got far enough into the book to know that the book ending plays out in a different way to the movie ending. So that was a really interesting experience. So having read the book and seen the film very close together, intersecting even, I think I can firmly say that I preferred the book. I think what the book has over the film is that it goes into the back histories of some of the characters, and so you understand them more, they're more sympathetic and also more complex and interesting, and in the film you kind of have to take them on face value a bit and kind of make some assumptions, and I don't think that works as well. So I do think it is better as a book, but it was a very enjoyable film that I think people who aren't interested in reading the book will enjoy. The last book I finished reading in September I do actually have here to show you, and that is The Graces. I found that this ticked a lot of my boxes. It's got school, it's got characters not being very nice to each other, it's got very high stakes teenage drama, it's got witchcraft, or does it? It's all very mysterious and it has a great sense of atmosphere, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't know where the plot was going for most of the book, and I was just kind of enjoying the ride and enjoying all the scene setting and the characterisation and all of that. But I would have probably liked a bit more plot to kind of push me in the direction it was going, because suddenly, partway through the book, it kind of, something big happens and you've got part 2 and you're trying to figure out how the two parts intersect and what the narrator isn't telling you. You know, the reveal at the end makes total sense. I just wasn't sure about the way it was structured and the plot. it kind of lost me for a bit there, and I can see why some people might stop reading it at that point. But I mean, for me, it had ticked enough of my boxes that I persevered, and I think it was ultimately worth it in the end. Now, on to October, and I started the month thinking I was in quite a fluffy, contemporary kind of mood, so I picked up Think Twice, because I read the first book in this duo, Don't Even Think About It, and really, really enjoyed it. I read it for my book club, and I was one of the people in the book club who enjoyed it the most. I did enjoy Think Twice, but nowhere near as much as Don't Even Think About It. And when I finished reading it, I wanted to jump straight into something meaty. Like, I think this was a little bit too fluffy for me. Maybe I wasn't actually reading it in the right mood. I'm not sure. But I think if you enjoyed the first book, it's worth reading to find out what happens, but it doesn't really go into the issues brought up in the first book in a lot of depth, so be aware of that. I mean, it is a duo with a very large cast of characters, and I think it's remarkable how well the author pulls off working with them all. And it does have a twist at the end, which I thought was quite fun. But this isn't a heavy-going duo of books, so you know, what you got in the first book you will get in the second book. It doesn't get any deeper. So just be aware of that. I think that's perfectly fine for a book to be like that. It just wasn't my exact cup of tea at that time, you know. It was like one of those chocolate teas when really I wanted something a bit more Earl Grey. A bit more Earl Grey was Fightin Blood by Irène Némirovsky, I think. I did actually watch somebody else pronounce her name to try to make sure that I pronounced it correctly. But anyway, so this is a novella by this author who is best known for the book Suite Française. I haven't read Suite Française, but when I saw this, I thought I would give it a go. I thought that as it's a novella, it would be the perfect kind of taster to see whether I like her writing and whether I would be interested in reading a full-length novel by her, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was the perfect antidote to what I had too much of in Think Twice. It's quite slow-paced, and there's a lot of kind of character study stuff, and it's very interesting as a reading experience to kind of put yourself into the mindset of this man, how he sees his family, and I really enjoyed it and I got a lot out of it, so I think I will be checking out her other works. The final book I finished reading in October was The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness, which I read because my boyfriend Nick had asked me to be on the podcast he runs with his friend Alistair, Moderate Fantasy Violence, to talk about Class, the Doctor Who spin-off, which is written by Patrick Ness. And I hadn't read any books by Patrick Ness, so I thought, you know, I should prepare. They said, you know, you don't have to do this, but I love to prepare. I love to over-prepare, if at all possible. So I thought I would read a book by him, and as this is one that a lot of my friends have really loved, and it's a standalone, and I could kind of already see in my mind that there might be some connections between it and Class, I decided to give it a go, and I really, really, really liked it. It's a really good exploration of kind of the cliches of YA, in, you know, when a character has to save the world or a group of characters have to save the world. It explores all the cliches around that and also asks the questions, what is going on with everybody else in the background, and it kind of goes into the problems that a lot of real teenagers face, which are very different from, you know, oh no, a sparkly vampire is in love with me, or there's the apocalypse and I am the only one who can avert it, I am the chosen one, etc. It's really, really good, and it intersects in a very nice, kind of quite warm and affectionate way with the characters who are saving the world during the book. So it kind of pokes fun in a good humoured way, but also delves into some quite serious issues, and I would really recommend it. If you want to have a listen to that episode of Moderate Fantasy Violence in which I guest star, if you can guest star in a podcast, I assume you can, then I will put a link in the description box.